Chapter 911, Contest of Dream Realm. About 600,000 ordinary dragonfish and a desolate beast dragonfish. Fang Yuan flew rapidly while calculating the profits in his immortal aperture. The first move he made after coming in this starry sky grotto heaven fragment world gave him a huge harvest. The only blemish was a lot of ordinary dragonfish had died. Because of the desolate beast dragonfish's rampage, many ordinary dragonfish that normally surrounded the desolate beast dragonfish died miserably. Otherwise, Fang Yuan's gains would be even greater. Regardless, Fang Yuan was satisfied. Back then at Dong Fang tribe's headquarters, he only gained around 900,000 ordinary dragonfish and a desolate beast dragonfish. His current gains already were over half of this. If these were to be added to Hu Immortal Blessed Land's dragon scale lake, its size would not be enough to contain these dragonfish. When the truth of the collapse of 88 True Yang building comes to light, I must abandon Hu Immortal Blessed Land, so there is no need to expand the dragon scale lake. It seems when I return after this, I must remodel Star Form Blessed Land to raise these dragonfish. Fang Yuan was looking around his surroundings as he pondered. He had unlimited primeval essence and also had countless investigative mortal killer moves. There was even a recently obtained investigative immortal killer move, Star Premonition. Thus, he was not worried that he would miss any good things on his way. However, Fang Yuan did not find many opportunities to take action. When Starry Sky Grotto Heaven was intact, it was already looted repeatedly by combat immortal sect. Now, among the remaining resources, those that could interest Fang Yuan were already very few. Moreover, he had to hand over 2/3 of all the gains he made in this trip to Immortal Crane sect, while he himself could only obtain 1/3. This greatly impacted Fang Yuan's enthusiasm. The 10 ancient sects sent the disciples to compete for various resources inside within a limited time, 7 days and 7 nights. After this time passes, the resources occupied inside will be divided up. Next would be time for the 10 ancient sects to plunder and develop the resources by themselves. This has nothing to do with me. So now, I only need to get the desolate beast dragonfish, hidden essence turtle, and that nether grass. Most of my energy and time should be used to search for that dream realm in the central region. When he thought of the dream realm, Fang Yuan's gaze shined and a fire burned inside him. Before leaving, Feng Yang had reminded Fang Yuan to occupy the central region as early as possible. In the center of this fragment world was an external manifestation of a dream realm that it involved the prophecy of Great Dream Immortal Venerable. The 10 great ancient sects had already begun researching. Moreover, Feng Jin Huang possessed Dream Wing's immortal goo, which allowed Spirit Affinity House to firmly occupy the leading position. More importantly, this dream realm had a huge origin. It was Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. Immortal Crane sect's research of dream realms might be completely behind Spirit Affinity House, but as long as they were able to seize this dream realm, they could contain Spirit Affinity House's momentum and could rely on this dream realm to make terms and exchange benefits with Spirit Affinity House to in the entire fragment world. The most precious resource was not desolate beasts or desolate plants. Instead, it was this small external manifestation of a dream realm. Thus, before they parted, Feng Yang specially reminded Fang Yuan of this matter. But how could he know the excitement inside Fang Yuan? Fang Yuan might not be like Feng Jin Huang with Dream Path Immortal Goo, but he had a Wisdom Path Immortal Goo, Unravel Mystery, and the Dream Path Killer move formed with it as the basis. Unravel Dream. Feng Yang inviting Fang Yuan to represent Immortal Crane sect was simply like opening the door to a thief or bringing a weasel to a chicken coop. Immortal Crane sect does not have enough strength. They had decided to send me now, but this was met with strong resistance from the other 9 sections. In the end, although Immortal Crane sect got what they wished, my entry time was far later than the other 9 sections. I must hurry and occupy the central region. After all, undue delay may bring trouble. Capturing the dragonfish was only done casually on his way. The most important matter was still the external manifestation of the dream realm in the central region. However, when Fang Yuan reached his destination, someone was already there. Fang Yuan, I have been waiting for quite a while. Feng Huang led 4 other Gu masters of Spirit Affinity House to protect the magnificent dream realm behind them. She looked at this trip's strongest competitor. Her skin was snow white, her appearance as pretty as a painting. Her smile was beautiful, and she looked extremely confident. Fang Yuan was not anxious, as he replied with a smile as well. According to the rules set by the 10 great sects, for your Spirit Affinity House to completely occupy this area, you need to face the challenges from other sections. Only after winning 2 out of 3 challenges can you strip away the opponent's right to occupy this area. The 10 great ancient sects were famous righteous sects of Central Continent, but they also had the same origin, heavenly court. Thus, although they were competing, it was not a cruel slaughter like that of the demonic path, and was much gentler. Feng Huang shook her head. Although I have immortal goo and immortal essence that Mother placed on me, I cannot defeat you. I waited for you to do a transaction. Oh, Fang Yuan's brows raised as he said, coldly. You want to do a transaction with me again? Last time, you scammed me quite heavily at the Refinement Path Convention. The method you gave me for getting rid of the immortal zombie status was actually an ascension of the 10 extreme physiques. You still want to do another transaction? Feng Huang quickly replied. This transaction will be mutually beneficial, Fang Yuan. You have also taken quite a lot of benefits from my Spirit Affinity House. You can rest assured that I won't let you suffer losses in this transaction. All right, then speak. Fang Yuan nodded. Feng Huang immediately gave a suggestion of what to trade. It was actually another method to get rid of the immortal zombie status. She had completely seen through Fang Yuan's weak point and did not let go of it. After confirming that Feng Huang's method was not what he already had, Fang Yuan agreed to this transaction. Like Feng Huang said, this transaction was mutually beneficial, having benefits to both sides. And if there were benefits, Fang Yuan would naturally take it. Shortly afterwards, Fang Yuan obtained a completely new method of getting rid of the immortal zombie state and reviving. This was a transformation path method. According to Feng Huang's words, Fang Yuan would have to cultivate transformation path and use a transformation path killer move to transform himself into a normal goo immortal. Then, he could use everlasting immortal goo to make this transformation fixed and unchangeable. Like this, he could get rid of the immortal zombie status. This was indeed a practical thought, because a lot of goo masters or goo immortals in their cultivation journeys would face an awkward and tragic situation of not being able to go back to their original shape after transforming too many times. And this method was the exact opposite. It thoroughly finalized the transformation.as for this dream realm. It would be occupied by Fang Yuan, but Feng Huang had 3 days to explore this external manifestation of a dream realm. 3 days later, she had to leave this area. This is a dream realm's external manifestation? Fang Yuan mumbled as he looked ahead of him, as if this was the first time he had seen it. His expression was serious, curious, and his gaze revealing some greed and fervent passion. Every external manifestation of Dream Realm had a wonderfully beautiful appearance. This dream realm that was displayed in front of them was like a condensed star cloud, with dark purple light shining in the periphery and countless stars inside. The whole dream realm gave off a profound, mysterious aura, and also gave indications of danger. Feng Huang looked on at Fang Yuan's eager expression, coldly snorting inwardly with satisfaction. She had seen this kind of expression many times. Dream realms are good, but it is a pity you don't have dream wings, immortal goo. This enormous benefit is placed right beside your mouth, but you can't eat it. Maybe in your whole life, you won't understand that feeling of exploring a dream realm. There is also the huge advancement after a smooth exploration. Feng Huang did not remind Fang Yuan. If Fang Yuan died in star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm, it would be much more beneficial for her. However, she knew that it was not likely to happen. Since Immortal Crane sect sent Fang Yuan, they would have reminded him of the dangers of the dream realm. Sure enough, Feng Huang waited for a while, but only saw Fang Yuan standing on the spot without moving forward. Although he had a longing look on his face, he did not take a step beyond the limit. Feng Huang snorted inwardly before turning towards the other 4 Gu masters. 3 days is a limited span of time. I need to explore this dream realm immediately. All of you, protect my physical body. Don't make any mistakes. The Gu Masters quickly replied, "We will use up all our strength, and even if we die, we will protect you to the end. Lady Feng Huang, you can enter at ease. If the situation is urgent, we will immediately awaken you." Feng Huang nodded and stepped towards the dream realm. When she was still 20 or so steps away from the dream realm, she had reached her limit. With her current ability, she still could not completely throw herself into the dream realm. She gave a last look at the distant Fang Yuan before slowly sitting down cross-legged on the ground. She closed her eyes and activated Dream Wings Immortal Gu, falling into a deep sleep that as far as Feng Huang was concerned, the greatest threat to her was the immortal zombie Fang Yuan. Were Fang Yuan to act against her, those rank 5 Gu Masters of Spirit Affinity House would simply be incapable of resisting him. Thus, Feng Huang did not completely rely on these 4 Gu Masters. What she placed confidence in was the immortal Gu and abundant immortal essence her mother, Fairy Bai Qing, had placed with her. Dream Wings Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan looked at Feng Huang with envy. Dream Wings Immortal Gu could let the user fall into a deep sleep at any time and attach dream wings to their soul, letting them roam freely in dream realms, allowing them to advance or retreat freely, guaranteeing their safety. Compared to Dream Travel Immortal Gu, Dream Wings Immortal Gu had an advantage. It did not require immortal essence to be activated. Thus, it was the most suitable for cultivators like Feng Huang, who had yet to become Gu. Immortals. Fang Yuan already had thoughts of taking action, but killing Feng Huang and seizing Dream Wings Immortal Gu was not a practical idea. Seizing Immortal Gu by itself was an extremely difficult matter. And killing Feng Huang was also not easy. Even an idiot would know Feng Huang certainly had large numbers of life protection methods on her. Most importantly, the current situation had yet to turn to a critical state. There was still space to scheme. Fang Yuan was not a retard. He would not make such a huge mistake. This Feng Huang is maturing rapidly. First was the transaction. She handed over all the control of this dream realm to me of her own accord, turning me into a shield to block other competitors in her place, while she uses Dream Wings Immortal Gu to wantonly explore the dream realm and plunder benefits. Next, when she saw me have a desire to explore, she did not give me any reminders, waiting to see me make a fool of myself. However, regardless of how talented you are, you would not think that I possess the killer move Unravel Dream. Fang Yuan sneered as he let out the desolate beast shark fin wolf from his immortal aperture. This desolate beast wolf had been violently subdued by him through flicking its penis. For this exploration of the fragment world, Fang Yuan had already taken it out from Hu immortal blessed land and brought it with him. The moment they saw the desolate beast, Spirit Affinity House's 4 Gu Masters were tongue-tied with shock. They were even about to awaken Feng Huang that it was Fang Yuan who reminded them. No need to be anxious. This desolate beast will look after this place. 3 days later, if all of you have not left, it will eat you alive. With this warning, Fang Yuan flew to the sky, quickly leaving the vision of the Gu Masters of Spirit Affinity House. Chapter 912, Beastman. Fang Yuan landed after flying far away that he took out a large batch of rockmen from his immortal aperture. It be in Hu immortal blessed land or star form blessed land. He raised batches of rockmen. Fang Yuan took half of them and brought them along. Right now, he let them out to be used as helpers. We greet Lord Immortal. The rockmen saw Fang Yuan and paid respects. Fang Yuan responded with a grunt. His expression was cold and he appeared high and mighty. Above the masses, he gave these rockmen instructions to collect resources before leaving, concealing his figure and returning to the dream realm. These rockmen were elites. There were many Gu worms on their bodies. These were all specially arranged by Fang Yuan. These rockmen were all armed by Fang Yuan. Their battle strength were greatly raised because they moved in groups of 10, even if they encountered groups from other sects. Fang Yuan was not worried that the rockmen would lose. Or rather, even if the rockmen lost, Fang Yuan would not feel loss. This was only a facade. The manifested dream realm was like a small hill's size. Fang Yuan concealed his figure and carefully went to the back, entering the dream realm. Last time, Fang Yuan was inside the 8-star hall of Starry Sky Grotto Heaven. He was at the border of star constellation Immortal, Venerable's dream realm, and almost died. After detonating his bat wings, he managed to struggle his way out. This time, he went in purposely, because he had the killer move Unravel Dream. His power was much higher. Times were different now. His vision changed. Fang Yuan entered star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. It was night. Fire was burning, rising to the sky. Countless brawny beastmen were surrounding a huge fire, dancing around it. Growl, growl, growl. Roar, roar, roar. Among these beastmen, some had faces of tigers and human bodies. They opened their mouths and growled angrily. Some had eagle beaks. They shrieked loudly. Some had a leopard's tail growing from their backs. They danced around and moved alongside the lingering shadows. This is the beastman race that got wiped out from existence during the Olden Antiquity era. Fang Yuan came back to awareness. He understood the origins of these beastmen. Beastmen were a type of variant human. During the remote Antiquity era, as well as the immemorial Antiquity era, they were one of the strongest variant human races in the world. Beastmen had incredible battle strength. They worshipped fierce beasts and adopted their ferocity and ruthlessness, especially when they could attract wild transformation path goo worms to live in them, allowing them to transform into a half-man, half-beast state. They would gain a part of the fierce beast's abilities and strength. As time passed, humans began to rise up. During the remote Antiquity era, primordial origin Immortal Venerable and star constellation Immortal Venerable appeared, leading humans to resist the rule of variant humans, establishing the authority of humans. By the Olden Antiquity era, 3 human demon venerables appeared, creating wars and exterminating the beastmen race, stabilizing the status of humans as the rulers. Star constellation Immortal Venerable was a rank 9 goo immortal from the remote Antiquity era. At that time, humans were fighting with various variant humans and were fighting to control the world. This is indeed star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan was slightly excited. He looked around and found that he was a human boy in this dream. He was tied up by a rope. The other end of the rope was tightly tied to a tree trunk. There were over a dozen humans who were tied up like Fang Yuan. They were all young children. Oh no! Beastmen are bloodthirsty by nature. They were also known as the man-eating race. History states that the favorite food of beastmen are the flesh and blood of human children. Beastmen tribes all treat surrounding humans as food. They would go out to hunt occasionally. When they succeed in their hunts, they would hold a huge celebration by a bonfire. Fang Yuan sensed the dangerous situation. He struggled intensely, but the rope was getting tighter. His body had bloodstains because of the friction with the ropes. Intense pain was assaulting his body. It is no use. The more you struggle, the more painful it gets. We are doomed. We are dead meat. Whoa, I don't want to be eaten. The surrounding human children saw that Fang Yuan was struggling. Some advised him indifferently, while others cried in despair. Just as the bonfire celebration reached its climax, the Beastman leader shouted, "Come, bring up our most delectable food." Growl, growl, growl. The Beastmen raised their heads, shouting. An elephant man who was 6 meters tall stood up from his sitting position. He stretched out his long and powerful trunk as he pulled up the entire tree that held the ropes that tied the children. The tree trunk was raised high in the air. The children who were tied up resembled tiny pearls as they screamed in fear, hanging in the air. The Beastmen shouted again. The elephant man who had shown off his might laughed loudly. His trunk loosened, and the tree trunk was slammed onto the ground. The children could not free themselves. They fell as well. Some unlucky children were crushed to death by the tree. An intense smell of blood spread out. Some beastmen could not control their bloodthirsty desire. They jumped in and grabbed the children's corpses, putting them into their mouths. Delicious. Human children taste tender and delicious, huh? As they spoke, the beastmen showed a sense of wildness and ruthlessness. The blazing bonfire crackled. The surrounding beastmen stared excitedly with red, wide-open eyes towards these lucky children who survived. Some were growling. Some had uneven fangs. Some stretched out their bright red tongues. They licked their lips as they drooled. The amber light of the fire was reflecting in their eyes. The children screamed out in fright. Some had fainted on the spot, but Fang Yuan found that one girl. was expressionless. Even though her body was shivering and her expression was pale as paper, she bit her lips. She did not make a sound. Is it possible that she... Fang Yuan's heart jumped. He had a flash of inspiration. Before this inspiration was processed, the Beastman leader walked towards Fang Yuan and the others with an intensely ferocious aura. He looked down arrogantly at these weak children. As the light flickered, lots of children watched with fearful gazes. The Beastman leader had a black face and sharp fangs. He spoke slowly. According to the traditions of our tribe, those that can untie the wind, not grass, are people blessed by heaven. They can be spared from death. Those who fail to untie it, they can be honored to become the food of us noble beastmen. The moment he said that, the Beastman leader waved his tail. From the flickering light, a bright flash occurred. The ropes were cut. The human children obtained temporary freedom and movement. Wind, not grass. Seeing the pile of dried grass that the Beastmen brought over, Fang Yuan was curious. The wind, not grass was like a lantern, a round ball-shaped grass lantern. It was very rare to see in modern times. There was no wind, not grass in the 5 regions. This was a type of grass only found in green. Heaven of the immemorial 9 heavens. Renzu's 10 children destroyed the immemorial 9 heavens, causing fragments of immemorial green heaven to fall into the 5 regions. During star constellation Immortal Venerable's era, many fragment worlds of the immemorial 9 heavens fell into different areas of the 5 regions. The Beastmen worshipped the heavenly deities. Their tribal belief was that whoever could untie the wind, not grass, was blessed by the heavens. They were precious beings that could not be harmed. That means, as long as I can untie the wind, not grass, I can be spared from death. Fang Yuan's thoughts moved rapidly. He had turned into a child after entering this dream realm. He was not even 13 years old yet. His aperture was not awakened yet. He had no power to free himself from this predicament. He could only follow the Beastman rules and untie wind, not grass alone. Even though he knew it was a dream realm, it was not favorable to die inside the dream. This meant he would be consumed by the dream realm. Each time he got consumed, even though he would not die, his soul would suffer a huge injury. If his soul got injured too often, it would get weak. When he reached his limits, his soul would break down and dissipate. Even if his body was still around, he would die. This was the danger of exploring dream realms. Soon, each child received their wind, not grass. Knowing that this was their only chance at survival, the children opened their eyes wide and used every second they had to try and untie the wind, not grass. The surrounding beastmen were laughing coldly or grinding their teeth. Some were licking their lips or polishing their claws. They surrounded Fang Yuan's group and watched sinisterly. The human children were in the center, surrounded by countless savage beastmen. Using the light of the bonfire, the children gathered their concentration and placed their efforts on the grass lanterns. Fang Yuan observed carefully. This type of grass lantern was made from all sorts of roots, leaves, and stems. They were intertwined together and formed into a mysterious ball. Only in immemorial green heaven would there be winds blowing all year around, at strange directions and angles. Countless plants would be uprooted or shaved until they were bare. These twigs would intertwine in the wind and slowly form into this ball-shaped grass lantern. Because time was limited, the surrounding children were trying to untie their wind, not grass. Only Fang Yuan did not start immediately. This was the first time he was seeing the wind, not grass. He was assessing it. His unique demeanor attracted the attention of the beastmen. He even attracted the attention of Feng Jinhuang as well. Feng Jinhuang was also inside the dream realm. Similar to Fang Yuan, she was also a child. Fang Yuan looked very calm and radiated with confidence. His body was covered in dirt and dust. His gender could not be discerned. Feng Jinhuang had a misunderstanding. What's going on with this child? Is she star constellation Immortal Venerable? Roar. Right at this moment, a tiger-headed beastman roared loudly with excitement. He grabbed a human boy rapidly and threw him into his mouth. Crack, crack. He opened his mouth and chewed, eating half of the boy in an instant. What are you looking at? He ruined a wind, not grass. He had already failed. It is only natural for me to eat him. Looking at the surrounding unfriendly gazes, the tiger-headed beastman growled. There was the blood and flesh of the boy stuck in the middle of his teeth. With this stimulation, the surrounding beastmen were stirred up. Their eyes shined with ruthlessness as they looked at the remaining children. Daddy, Daddy, where are you? Quickly come and save me. A girl broke down. She held the wind-knot grass as she cried loudly. Damn it! Why is my wind-knot grass so hard to untie? No, I must succeed. I can do it. I have played with this wind-knot grass a lot in the past. The surrounding beastmen did not want the children to succeed. They got closer and closer. They had ill intentions. They purposely growled and threatened, or breathed roughly to interrupt the children. Scoundrel, get away from me. You stink. Feng Huang flew into a rage. She shouted at a crocodile-tail beastman. The crocodile-tail beastman growled angrily. It stared at Feng Huang with its bloodshot eyes. It did not expect this food to be so arrogant. Feng Huang had no fear. What are you growling for? So annoying, you bastard. Bam! The crocodile-tailed beastman erupted. Its tail, which was tough as iron, swept and directly destroyed Feng Huang's skull. Chapter 9:13. Dream Wings, Unravel Dream. Once Feng Huang died, her soul flew into the night sky, giggling tenderly. On the back of her soul, a pair of rainbow-colored feather wings unfolded. It was the manifestation of Dream Wings, Immortal Goo. I have Dream Wings, Immortal Goo. I can freely enter and exit the dream realm. Even if I failed this time, I can just wait for the next attempt at the dream realm and try again. Feng Huang snorted smugly internally. She had tried earlier. The wind-knot grass in her hands had already been ruined by her. The knot was even worse than at the beginning. But when Feng Huang was about to escape by flapping her wings, an eagle-bodied beastman pounced down from the sky. Feng Huang shrieked in fear. She wanted to dodge. But the wings that could flap rapidly ordinarily were extremely slow when they tried to move in this dream realm. Feng Huang had underestimated Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. It was much more hard to deal with. Her soul was crushed by the eagle-bodied beastman before she could escape. With just one hit, Feng Huang's soul was heavily injured. The next moment, Feng Huang left the dream realm. Her soul returned to her body. Puff! She opened her eyes and spat out a mouthful of blood. The Goo Masters from Spirit Affinity House were shocked. They quickly came over to assist her. What a formidable dream realm. If I were to take another hit like that one earlier, I would definitely die inside the dream for real. Feng Huang's eyes were flashing with lingering fear. Cold sweat was pouring down her back. I was careless. Even though I have Dream Wings, Immortal Goo, against the dream realm of an immortal venerable, I am not safe at all. Thankfully, I had prepared a large number of Guts Goo and brought it with me. With Guts Goo, my soul will recover rapidly. In half a day, I will heal completely. Feng Huang wiped the cold sweat off her forehead as she stopped wasting time. She quickly started healing herself. In the dream realm, Fang Yuan directed his gaze towards the wind, not grass again. Feng Huang's earlier performance gave Fang Yuan quite a bit of information. This dream realm is not large in scale. This current scene is only the outer layer of the dream realm. This is an immortal venerable's dream after all. Even with the rank 6 Dream Wings Immortal Goo, she could not escape immediately. Now it seems, the crux of this dream realm is the wind, not grass in my hands. Fang Yuan had a realization. After he finished his observations, he started to untie the wind, not grass. He first tried to untie it from the outermost layer. He felt like he was facing a complex and tangled ball of string. He needed to find the outer tip of the string and pull it out slowly, strand by strand. The third layer. Fang Yuan could not continue further. It was a complete mess in front of him. The stalks were intertwined together. He could not untie it manually. To untie the wind, not grass, without using brute strength, not only would I need confidence and good perception, I need to deduce it with my brain. I also need patience and ample time, most importantly, along with some luck. Fang Yuan sighed to himself inwardly. He had opened a path in this wind, not grass, but this path was stuck at the third layer. There was a way out for him now. That was to retreat by 2 layers and try to untie this from another end. Other people could only do this as well, but there was an exception. Fang Yuan looked around and noticed that the girl he suspected was Star Constellation Immortal Venerable had already untied the 7th layer. The wind, not grass, had shrunken in half in her hands. Without using any wisdom path goo worms, using purely her brain power, she reached this stage. Fang Yuan was shocked. Even though he had been late at starting to unite the wind not grass, the difference between them was still too great. Fang Yuan squinted. He concealed the brilliance shining in his eyes, in terms of untying ability. Fang Yuan was only at the middle to upper tier among the children. In terms of progress, he was at the middle to lower tier. More than half the time had passed already. Looking at the speed of the children, the only one with any hopes of escaping was the girl who he thought was star constellation immortal venerable. But Fang Yuan had ample confidence. He believed that not only could he succeed, he would even surpass everyone and become the first. What gave him confidence was none other than the Dream Path Immortal Killer move. Unravel Dream. Unravel Dream activated. The intertwined strands in front of him slowly melted. They untied themselves. The surrounding beastmen were watching this, especially a snake beastman behind Fang Yuan. It was observing the entire process, but they did not say anything or take any action. This was the mystical power of Unravel Dream. It was not an offensive killer move purely. Its effect varied according to the dream he was in. For example, if Fang Yuan was fighting inside a dream realm, Unravel Dream would be his strongest attacking method. If the dream realm was weak, he could directly disintegrate his enemies. Right now, the dream realm's rules were for Fang Yuan to untie the wind not grass. Then, Unravel Dream's current effect was to help Fang Yuan and untie the wind not grass. This untying was according to the set rules. It was not unraveled through brute force, in the eyes of the surrounding children and the observing beastmen. Fang Yuan was not cheating at all. He was using his brain and successfully untying the third layer of the wind not grass. Thus, they did not do anything. Even the snake person that wanted to eat Fang Yuan only watched with a slightly surprised expression. It felt that it was somewhat unexpected that Fang Yuan could untie 3 layers. Unravel Dream. Unravel Dream. Unravel Dream. Fang Yuan continued his momentum and did not stop. The wind not grass in his hands was quickly untied. He reached the centered, the core of the wind not grass. There was a seed. This was the self-defense mechanism of the plants in immemorial green heaven, as well as a way to use the wind for dispersal. Fang Yuan took out the seed, standing up and raising it high. He succeeded. This speed is too fast. I am begging you, help me, okay? The surrounding people were stirred up. Even the girl who he suspected to be star constellation immortal venerable gave him a surprised gaze. You are free, little thing. I will give you 3 days to escape for your life. Scram now. The leader of the Beastman tribe snorted, kicking Fang Yuan and sending him flying. Fang Yuan's tiny body flew in the air for a distance of more than 10 steps before crashing on the ground. What made Fang Yuan surprised was, even though he felt a little short of breath from getting kicked, he was uninjured. The Beastman leader was strong and powerful, but in terms of physical movements, it had reached the stage of perfect self-control. Since Fang Yuan had untied the wind not grass, the Beastman tribe had to let him go. Fang Yuan gave a glance at the little girl. The latter had already gathered her attention to the wind not grass in her hands. Fang Yuan hesitated slightly, before turning around and leaving. He left the bonfire, walking towards the darkness in the forest. He only took a dozen steps before there was a bright light shining in the darkness. The more he walked forward, the brighter the light. Eventually, all of the darkness in front of him turned into light. The light faded slowly, and the scene of reality showed itself in front of him. Fang Yuan realized that not only did he open his eyes, his body had walked for over a dozen steps, away from the manifested dream realm. Looking back at the dream realm, Fang Yuan frowned deeply. He was very confused. What is going on? I left the dream realm just like that. He thought it over. This exploration of the dream realm did not fail. His wisdom path attainment level had risen slightly. This should not be. According to the scale of this dream realm, there should be 3 scenes. I got through the first round. Why did I not enter the second round successfully? Fang Yuan stood on the spot as he pondered. The light emitted by the manifested dream realm shined on his face. He left the dream realm and returned on the same route from which he entered. On the other side of the dream realm, Spirit Affinity House's group was still trying to heal Feng Jin Huang urgently. Thus, Fang Yuan was not exposed. But if he could not understand why he left the dream realm, there was a possibility that he might walk towards Spirit Affinity House's direction the next time he left it. If others found out that Fang Yuan could explore the dream realm, it would be somewhat troublesome. After a long time, Fang Yuan's tight frown gradually eased. He walked forwards and let the dream realm engulf him. His vision changed. Fang Yuan had entered star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm again. Dark night, bonfire, beastmen, children, wind not grass. The same scene was unfolding again. Using Unravel Dream, Fang Yuan cheated all the way, becoming the first to untie the wind not grass. But this time, he did not leave. He walked towards the girl who he thought was star constellation Immortal Venerable and tried to help her untie her wind not grass. The Beastman leader did not object. He said, "Little rascal, you still want to help others? Hee, you can help her, but if you fail, you will lose your life." It seems my guess is correct. Fang Yuan was overjoyed. He untied the wind not grass within the time limit and successfully escaped with the girl. What? I still left. Fang Yuan looked back in surprise. His second attempt still failed. Fang Yuan did not enter the second scene. He was thrown out of the dream realm like the first time. Dream realms were unpredictable and strange. Their rules varied. Because each dream realm was unique, it was hard to accumulate experience in exploring the dream realm. Even though Fang Yuan had his previous life's memories, his advantage was still very small. This time, after saving the girl, my wisdom path attainment went up more than last time. Fang Yuan muttered. He went into deep contemplation. According to this situation, there were two possibilities. Point 1. The girl that he saved was not the real star constellation Immortal Venerable. Point 2. He had to save more children. After he hit a certain number, he would enter the second scene. Before he entered the dream realm for a third time, Fang Yuan rested slightly first. He took out Guts Goo and healed his weakened soul back to its prime. Even though he had successfully escaped the dream realm and did a successful exploration, his soul was not unharmed. He still expended a lot of it in the dream realm. Of course, Fang Yuan's soul was far less injured than Feng Jin Huang's. The former had succeeded, while the latter's exploration failed. This was incomparable. Third time, Fang Yuan spurring himself on inwardly, he entered the dream realm again. Everything restarted again in the dream. The moment the wind not grass was distributed, Fang Yuan used the killer move Unravel Dream several times, and in a few breaths' time, he untied the wind not grass in his hand. Fang Yuan grabbed onto the seed as he raised up his right hand, shouting, "I succeeded." At once, be it the beastmen or children, they stared with wide open eyes as they looked at Fang Yuan in shock. The noisy scene turned into creepy silence. Chapter 914. Huge growth in attainment level. I will help you. After Fang Yuan untied his wind not grass, he went to the child closest to him. Hee, rascal, you still want to help others? Sure, but you. The beastman leader snickered. Before he finished his words, he was interrupted by Fang Yuan. I know, if I can't save them, I will not leave. You can eat me. Fang Yuan waved his hand, speaking casually. G.U.H. The beastman leader choked up on his words. He could not say anything else. The surrounding children looked at Fang Yuan with hopeful and admiring gazes, as if they were looking at a hero. Lad, if you can save them all, I will step down as the leader. The beastman leader smiled sinisterly, but soon, he could not smile anymore. Fang Yuan did not follow the script. He used Unravel Dream continuously at an incredible pace. All of the captured children were saved one after another. If he were to untie the wind not grass through his own efforts, he would not even be able to save himself. But after using Unravel Dream, the difficulty fell immensely. To make a comparison, this was like playing mahjong, where everyone else was drawing random tiles, while Fang Yuan was changing the tiles to whatever he wanted, from everyone else's perspective. This sort of cheating behavior looked like Fang Yuan moving his fingers rapidly, no matter which wind not grass he held. After turning it a few times over, it would be untied rapidly, until the seed was taken out from its centermost position. So simple, simply too easy. This was the power of the dream path, killer move, Unravel Dream. The children's eyes were shining with tears. They looked at Fang Yuan as their gazes was filled with unparalleled gratitude and adoration. The beastmen opened their mouths wide. They were dumbfounded, unable to believe this. I saved them all. I succeeded. Fang Yuan spoke calmly at the beastman leader. A moment later, the children understand the situation and erupted into a deafening cheer. Some were sobbing out of joy. Some were jumping around excitedly. The beastman leader was speechless. He stared at Fang Yuan with bloodshot eyes. The surrounding beastmen were growling or baring their fangs. They were tempted to strike. Fang Yuan was not afraid that the beastmen would go back on their words. In most cases, these tribal beliefs were extremely strict. Due to the culture and traditions of the tribe, they had to obey it. Of course, nothing was certain. In reality, there was the possibility that the beastman tribe would go back on their words. But here, it was special. It was a dream realm. This was not reality. Indeed, like Fang Yuan had expected, the beastmen were furious and discontent, but they could only watch the food that was in front of them leave. Passing through the dark forest, Fang Yuan led the group of children away from the beastman tribe. They got far away from the bonfire. The children gathered around Fang Yuan. They walked together as they fell into silence. In the darkness, a speck of light expanded until light filled his vision. Fang Yuan's soul returned to his body. He opened his eyes, taking a look. Fang Yuan showed a surprised expression. He turned to the manifested dream realm behind him. He was filled with questions. How can this be? I have already saved all the children. I did this to the limits. How can I still be thrown out of the dream realm and not enter the second scene? Fang Yuan frowned deeply. Don't tell me my guess was wrong. Untying the wind, not grass, and saving the children is not the correct method to pass the first scene. What clues did I neglect? Fang Yuan thought intensely. He worked his mind to its limits. Explorations of dream realms were difficult. Even if Fang Yuan had his previous life's memories and was at the forefront of this generation, but when exploring the dream realm, he had no confidence in succeeding. Every dream realm was unique. The method to explore dream realms varied each time. It was hard to accumulate helpful experiences. Fang Yuan could only guess right now and try every idea he had. He could only persevere and not get frustrated to have a chance of passing the dream realm. Of course, in Fang Yuan's previous life, there were many instances where people explored dream realms and failed to make any progress for decades. Fang Yuan felt his head hurting. He had little confidence in his new guesses. In that case, I should go elsewhere and subdue the hidden essence turtle. Fang Yuan had run into a barrier in this dream realm. He would not stubbornly stay in place. Even though star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm was his main objective, he still definitely was going to obtain the dragonfish, hidden essence turtle, and the desolate plant. Changing his train of thought, Fang Yuan left this place, heading to another location. 2 hours later, Feng Jinhuang's pale face regained a bit of her rosiness. She opened her eyes. In her clear eyes, brilliance radiated. Guts goo is truly helpful towards the healing and recovery of souls. It takes effect so quickly. She was joyful, seeing that she was safe. The other 4 Spirit Affinity House Goo Masters heaved sighs of relief. They were here as bodyguards. If anything happened to Feng Jinhuang, they would not have a good time when they returned to the sect. Feng Jinhuang saw the desolate beast shark fin wolf that Fang Yuan left behind. Her gaze focused as she asked the Goo Masters around her. After hearing that during her healing period, no other Goo Masters had gotten close, she relaxed slightly. Finally, she inspected her body and confirmed that she had healed completely. She stood up and faced the dream realm again. Earlier, I used Dream Wings Immortal Goo and it displayed great capabilities while I was obtaining a boost in my refinement path attainment level. But this time, I am facing an Immortal Venerable's dream realm. The difficulty is worlds apart. I cannot commit my earlier mistake again. Why does the dream realm look slightly smaller? Feng Jinhuang's gaze concentrated. She showed a suspicious look. Once the dream realm was successfully explored, it would vanish. Even though Fang Yuan did not succeed, he had gained quite a harvest. His wisdom path attainment level rose. As the saying goes, where there are gains, there are losses. Fang Yuan gained something. The dream realm naturally lost something. That it showed on the surface as the dream realm's size shrinking. It did shrink. How did this happen? Feng Jinhuang confirmed it repeatedly and felt more suspicious. Is this Immortal Venerable Dream Realm special? It will shrink as time passes. Feng Huang did not suspect anything else in this era. People's understanding towards dream realms was still at a primitive and ignorant level. Furthermore, in Feng Huang's heart, she believed that her unique dream wings immortal goo provided superiority and advantages to her in dream path. Although she was suspicious, she could not verify anything. Eventually, she shook her head. Ignoring the sense of suspicion inside her, she entered the dream realm again. Just as Feng Huang entered the dream realm, Fang Yuan went to the location of the hidden essence turtle in accordance with He Feng Yang's information. This wisdom path desolate beast was huge. It was like a mound at this moment. The hidden essence turtle's 4 limbs and head were hidden in its shell. Its body was covered and hidden under rocks. Fang Yuan laughed lightly. He swooped down like an eagle ferociously. Boom, boom, boom. Intense explosions occurred, causing thunderous sounds. Fang Yuan and the hidden essence turtle fought at once. Rocks flew, smoke was rising up. The hidden essence turtle tried to resist at first, but it had no immortal goo and was only a desolate beast, not an ancient desolate beast. How could it be the match of Fang Yuan, who had rank 7 battle strength? After several rounds, the hidden essence turtle could only hide inside its shell and take a beating. This turtle shell is really thick. Fang Yuan attacked against the hidden essence turtle and felt a little surprised momentarily. He laughed in a helpless tone that he did not exert his full strength. In fact, he rarely used his immortal goo. He had used myriad self-giant hand in many situations already. It would be best if he did not expose it. Who knew if other sects had preparations involving some investigative immortal goo? Fang Yuan needed to conceal his strength as much as possible. Thus, after the hidden essence turtle hid itself, Fang Yuan did not rush. He split his focus onto 2 tasks at once. He made the battle grand and loud, while savoring his gains from the dream realm he thought over it. He had countless inspirations that emerged in him. It was like a door had been opened in front of him. He could see the view outside of the house. This feeling was incredible, amazing. Fang Yuan was drowning in euphoria. Earlier, my wisdom path attainment level was extremely ordinary. After all, I only started my wisdom path cultivation recently. But now, my wisdom path attainment level has reached quasi-master level. Star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm is simply incredible. Such progress, if it was according to normal cultivation, would take him decades of accumulation. Even though the dream realm was dangerous, each time he succeeded, he would have great gains. It was truly a great leap forward. Fang Yuan saved a lot of time. Why is there such thunderous noise? Fang Yuan was fighting intensely with the hidden essence turtle. Groups of goo masters were drawn over to investigate the situation. Fang Yuan? How can he be so strong? No wonder the elders in the sect told us to avoid this monster Fang Yuan. He is simply cheating. This is so unfair to us. How can we compete with this monster? Eventually, Fang Yuan spent a day and a night to subdue the hidden essence turtle and send it into his immortal aperture. During this period, many goo masters were drawn over, but after doing some investigations, they retreated in fear. 36th failure. Feng Huang opened her eyes in fatigue. Ever since she was heavily injured, she had become careful. Unfortunately, she did not have unravel dream and had never interacted with wind, not grass previously. She failed a total of 36 times, not even untying it correctly once. Being able to survive in the dream was the most basic requirement for successfully exploring a dream realm. Failing to untie the wind, not grass, meant she could not survive. The explorations failed. Thus, each time Feng Huang explored the dream realm, the injuries to her soul after failing far surpassed that of Fang Yuan. She had to spend a lot of time to rest and recover. Thus, after 2 days and 1 night, she only explored it 36 times. The Immortal Venerable's dream realm is so tough. I have Dream Wings Immortal Goo, but it is still so difficult for me, not to mention others. Feng Huang looked at the dream realm in front of her with a bitter expression. She was filled with dejection and frustration right now, as long as she thought about the appearance of the wind, not grass. This proud young genius would feel like vomiting. At this moment, Fang Yuan secretly got close to the dream realm. He had already captured the hidden essence turtle and nether grass. He was going to put his remaining time into the immortal venerable's dream realm. After going through some intense deductions, Fang Yuan had a new idea. Just as Feng Huang was anguished and dejected, Fang Yuan smiled confidently as he secretly entered the dream realm again. Chapter 9:15, The Biggest Winner. Star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm was displayed in front of Fang Yuan once again. It was night. A huge fire was burning. Dancing around the fire were beastmen, making beastly shouts and growls one after another. This was a celebration, a bloody celebration after hunting. Fang Yuan calmly looked around him. He was once again a human child bound tightly. Around him were many other boys and girls in the same situation. We are doomed. We are dead meat. Whoa, I don't want to be eaten. The kids cried, desperate and pale. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he suddenly stood up and shouted, I want wind, not grass. The Beastman tribe's celebration had just entered a heated stage, and right at this time, Fang Yuan's voice suddenly pierced into this celebration. For a moment, the bestial calls paused, and all the beastmen looked at Fang Yuan with blood-red eyes. An enormous pressure was formed. The human children became as silent as cicadas during winter, shivering. Some even peed their pants. Fang Yuan was without any expression as he shouted once more. The beastman leader grunted furiously before instructing, with surging killing intent, Give it to him. Little rascal, I will be watching you. As long as you ruin even a small strand, I will use my trunk to roll your tender little body into meat paste. An elephant beastman walked over and handed a ball of wind, not grass, to Fang Yuan while threatening him. Fang Yuan chuckled and glanced at the wind, not grass on his hand before raising his head. One? How is this enough? Give me one ball of wind, not grass, for every human captive there is here. I will untie all the wind, not grass, and save all of them. Instantly, shocked sounds came from all around, be it the beastmen or the children beside Fang Yuan. They all stared at Fang Yuan with different expressions. After the momentary shock, the beastmen started laughing loudly, and the children who had felt hopeful felt dispirited again, worried and desperate. Soon, all the wind, not grass, were laid in front of Fang Yuan. The height of the whole wind, not grass pile was several times Fang Yuan's current size. Were he to use his own strength, it would be impossible to untie all this wind, not grass, in the extremely limited time. Besides Fang Yuan, no one else believed he could succeed. Under everyone's gazes, Fang Yuan let out a breath of turbid air and began to disassemble the wind, not grass. Unravel dream. Unravel dream. Unravel dream. This special immortal killer move was created with a wisdom path, immortal goo, unravel mystery, as the core and several supplementary dream path mortal goo. Right now, it produced extremely great effects. However, although unravel mystery immortal goo could be used repeatedly, other dream path mortal goo would be expended after continuous use. Fortunately, Fang Yuan had never slacked off. He would take out some time every day to explore his own dream realm and refine dream path mortal goo. Little by little, these dream path mortal goo accumulated and were used at this moment. It was as the saying goes, opportunities favor those who are prepared. I have finally entered the second round of the dream realm. Fang Yuan felt satisfied inwardly. This time, he was not thrown out by the dream realm, and succeeded in his hopes of entering the second round of the dream realm. As it turned out, to pass through the first round of the dream realm, one had to save all the children. Fang Yuan had tried it before, but was actually late by a step to in the original route of the dream realm. A portion of the children were already killed by the Elephant Man. The Elephant Man brought these children under the Beast Man leader's instruction, but he intentionally slipped up, smashing the tree trunk to the ground. The tree trunk easily crushed many bound children. Their flesh was fought over by the Beast Men and devoured. Although this did conform to the Beast Man tribe's traditions, it could be considered to be skirting around them. The Elephant Man was a famous warrior of the Beast Man tribe. The Beast Man leader and others also put up with this action. When Fang Yuan was subduing the hidden essence turtle and nether grass, he realized this key point and saved all the human children, finally succeeding and entering the second round. After passing the first round, my wisdom path attainment has probably reached master level. A lot of dream path mortal goo have been expended by repeatedly using the killer move Unravel Dream. I will need to be more sparing. It is a pity that when I followed the information obtained from Mo Yao's will to look for that spring dream fruit tree, it was already cut down by some ignorant mortals half a year ago. Otherwise, with this tree, the amount of dream path mortal goo with me would be at least 10 times the number. The first round should be derived from the memory of star constellation Immortal Venerable's childhood. Maybe it was a regret of hers. I saved all the children which could be considered as making up for her regret, thus succeeding in passing the first round. Now, what will the second round be like? Fang Yuan suppressed his churning thoughts and observed his surroundings that it was a mountain in the lonely night sky. Few stars shone. Just like in summer, warm wind blew gently, bringing with it the fragrance of the lush mountain forest. The gurgling of the brook, the rustling of the leaves, and the song of the nightingales mixed together to form sounds of nature that needed no words to adorn them, compared the bloody, cruel, and vicious first round. This second round was mild as a drizzle and gentle as a breeze. Move quickly. What are you being dazed for? As long as we can take 6 steps over the astrolabe chessboard, we can obtain the legacy of Lord Immortal Venerable. If we can become Lord Immortal Venerable's disciples, we can learn abilities and become experts. At that time, we will avenge our families and kill those damned beast men. The surrounding children urged Fang Yuan to move. When they saw him stop, Fang Yuan immediately understood some conditions to pass the second round. There are records of this in history. The first rank 9 Gu immortal in human history is known as Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable. He was very aware of the drawbacks of the clan system, and to initiate a sect system, he set an example himself, setting up astrolabes in many places. As long as someone was able to walk 6 steps on the astrolabe chessboard, they could become his personal disciple. Fang Yuan recalled as he followed the surrounding companions towards the peak. There, he saw the famous astrolabe chessboard. The astrolabe chessboard was carved on a giant rock with a flat surface. On the rock were lines that were either horizontal cuts, vertical cuts, or diagonal cuts. Every time the breeze blew, these lines would flash with deep blue starry radiance. When Fang Yuan approached closer, these starry lines directly passed through his eyes and appeared in his mind at the same time. His soul was suddenly being consumed at dozens of times the previous rate. Many of the children who came with him stopped, unable to go forward. Some even fainted on the spot. Fang Yuan concentrated and walked forward till he reached the giant rock. He then slowly put his palm on the rock's surface. Boom! His ears buzzed as he hallucinated. Those thin starry lines suddenly expanded into paths he was walking on, and Fang Yuan's whole body blossomed with starry radiance, becoming a star chess piece, stopping in this web of these starry paths. Astrolabe chessboard. Fang Yuan observed, cold sweat filling his head. He thought for a long while before taking a step hesitatingly. The next moment, his soul was thrown out of the dream realm and returned to his physical body. His soul was heavily injured. One wrong step, and everything failed. Fang Yuan's body swayed, almost falling down to the ground. The injury to his soul was much more severe than Feng Huang's, almost costing him half his life. The second round of the dream realm is immensely more dangerous than the first round. Fang Yuan revealed a shocked expression before immediately calming down. But I have already passed the first round and received great gains. My wisdom path attainment has indeed already reached master level. There is still time, no need to hurry. I will use Guts Gu to recuperate first, then slowly explore. While Fang Yuan was healing his injuries, opposite him, obstructed by the external manifestation of the dream realm, Feng Huang had just finished recovering. She opened her eyes and stood up, intending to try again. Why has the dream realm shrunk again? Moreover, it has shrunken much more this time, almost by a third. Feng Huang stared with wide, open eyes. Fang Yuan had passed the first round and received huge gains. Thus the first round of the dream realm's external manifestation had disappeared. This portion of the dream realm had already turned into nourishment for Fang Yuan. Could it be that someone else has succeeded in exploring the dream realm? Feng Huang thought of this before laughing lightly to herself. That is not possible. Mother used the sect's help and already deduced that I possess the only dream path, Immortal Gu, in Central Continent. It seems this dream realm is truly special. It will gradually shrink with time. I need to hurry up. Feng Jinhuang squinted her eyes as she activated Dream Wings' immortal goo. Her dream wings flapped, bringing her soul into the dream realm. The moment she entered, Feng Jinhuang felt great joy. This is clearly a deeper layer of the dream realm. This is great. I finally don't have to face that damned wind, not grass. Right now, Feng Jinhuang was jumping with joy in the dream realm. However, after a while, Feng Jinhuang returned, utterly defeated. Her injured soul returned to its body, her face extremely pale. There is no more wind, not grass. But now there is this even more complex astrolabe chessboard. She bitterly looked at this dream realm in front of her, the external manifestation releasing all kinds of colors. Gorgeous and mysterious, grievance and anger filled her, but she had nowhere to vent it. Feng Jinhuang had gained many benefits from dream realms before, and with the Dream Wings immortal goo in her hands, she had gotten the thought that dream realms are just so, having a low opinion of the obstacles inside. Over her life, she had never failed so miserably like this. She had already spent the last few days facing this dream realm. She had received all sorts of injuries dozens of times, but had not made even the smallest gain. Star constellation immortal venerable, I will remember you. Feng Jinhuang gritted her teeth. Her eyes rolled backwards and she fainted. She finally could not endure the injuries. Time passed quickly. It was already the last day of the agreement. All the Goo Masters who had entered the fragment world came out and returned to the sides of their respective sects Goo Immortals, reporting on their findings. Soon, all the Immortals' gazes gathered on Fang Yuan, and he Feng Yang that I end this contest. Immortal Crane sect without doubt monopolized the lead, not only eating meat, they did not even leave behind soup for others that I in such a situation. Fang Yuan naturally did not want to stay for long. He completed the handover to He Feng Yang on the spot, and left this valley while keeping his dragonfish. Fang Yuan remained silent about his gains. He was fully aware that he was the biggest winner in this contest.